The night sky has always been a source of wonder, but for Indigenous Australian cultures, it is so much more than a celestial display. For tens of thousands of years, the stars have guided their lives, shaped their stories, and provided an intricate map of the universe. Their connection to the cosmos isn't just profound, it's among the oldest continuous astronomical traditions on Earth. This knowledge, passed down through generations, is deeply interwoven with their spirituality, culture, and daily life. Indigenous Australians view the sky as a living, dynamic storybook, a reflection of the land below and their place within it. Stars and celestial patterns form the backbone of dreaming stories, which not only explain the origins of the world, but also teach important lessons about community, respect, and the natural order. These stories are not just folklore. They are an integral part of preserving their identity and understanding the universe. But the significance of Indigenous astronomy extends beyond culture. Indigenous Australians use the stars for practical purposes, such as navigating vast distances across deserts and predicting the changing seasons. Their observations of celestial events like eclipses and comets, as well as their tracking of movements of planets, showcase an advanced understanding of the natural world. This episode delves into the brilliance of Indigenous Australian astronomy, uncovering its cultural depth, scientific relevance, and the ways it continues to inspire modern researchers. By exploring this ancient wisdom, we gain not only a richer understanding of the cosmos, but also a greater appreciation for the diverse ways in which humanity connects with the universe. From dreaming stories to groundbreaking scientific insights, the knowledge of Indigenous Australians reminds us of the boundless creativity and curiosity that defined our shared human experience. For Indigenous Australian cultures, the night sky isn't just an expanse of stars. It is the very fabric of existence. Every twinkling light holds meaning, every constellation a story, and every celestial event is woven into a deeper understanding of life, the land, and the universe. This spiritual connection to the cosmos forms the foundation of their dreaming stories, timeless narratives that explain the origins of the world and teach profound lessons about humanity's relationship with nature and each other. Take for instance the Emu in the night sky, a dark constellation formed by the dust lanes of the Milky Way. In many indigenous traditions, this celestial figure is not merely a decoration, but a guide for life. Its appearance in the night sky signals the start of the emu breeding season, a vital time for communities living off the land. Through stories like these, Indigenous Australians demonstrate how the sky mirrors the rhythms of the life on Earth. Dreaming stories also offer insights into morality and social cohesion. Constellations are often seen as ancestral spirits watching over their descendants, reminding them of their responsibilities to the land and their community. The Pleiades, or Seven Sisters, feature prominently in many dreaming tales, often symbolizing family bonds, loyalty, and resilience. These stories are not static. They evolve and adapt, yet their core messages remain deeply rooted in values of respect and connection. Importantly, the sky isn't just a canvas for spiritual meaning, it is also a tool for preservation. Dreaming stories tied to the stars act as a mnemonic system for passing down knowledge across generations. Whether it's understanding seasonal changes, navigating vast landscapes, or interpreting celestial events, the stars are central to their way of life. Through these narratives, the cultural and spiritual essence of Indigenous Australian astronomy has endured for tens of thousands of years. From the intricate patterns of constellations to the lessons embedded in dreaming stories, the night sky is a profound source of inspiration and wisdom. It reminds us that astronomy isn't just about telescopes or equations. It is also a deeply human pursuit, one that connects us to the past, the land, and the boundless mysteries above. In Indigenous Australian cultures, the stars are not distant objects to be studied. They are companions, ancestors, and storytellers, eternal guides shining down on life below. For Australian cultures, the night sky was more than a collection of shimmering lights. It was a compass, calendar, and guide intricately mapped to the vast Australian landscape. Long before GPS or even magnetic compasses, these communities mastered celestial navigation, relying on the stars to traverse enormous distances across deserts, forests, and coastlines. This profound understanding of the night sky reflects a knowledge system that's as practical as it is beautiful. The Southern Cross, for example, plays a pivotal role in navigation. Unlike the North Star, which is fixed in the Northern Hemisphere, the Southern Cross offers a more dynamic yet equally reliable guide for orienting oneself. Indigenous Australians would use its position to determine true south and find their way across the land. This constellation's importance transcends its function. It is embedded in dreaming stories and represents cultural and spiritual connection to the earth and sky. Yet, navigation wasn't just about finding direction. It was deeply tied to seasonal changes and survival. Indigenous Australians observed how the stars shifted with seasons and used these changes as cues for movement. When specific constellations appeared or disappeared from view, they knew it was time to move to new areas where food and water would be abundant. For example, the appearance of the Orion constellation signaled the onset of the wet season in the north, prompting communities to prepare for the changing environment. The night sky also provided an enduring map of the land. Certain stars and constellations were associated with specific landmarks, creating a celestial mirror of the terrain below. By following the songlines or dreaming tracks, paths that link the land and sky, travelers could navigate vast distances with remarkable accuracy. These songlines were not just practical routes but carried stories and teachings that connected people to the land and their ancestors. Every step was guided by a verse, every landmark tied to a star, and every destination enriched by cultural meaning. One of the most extraordinary aspects of Indigenous navigation is its holistic nature. It isn't just about looking at the stars in isolation, but understanding their connection to the land, the seasons, and the community. This comprehensive approach highlights a harmonious relationship with nature, where knowledge of the sky isn't separate from life on Earth, it's integrated into every facet of it. Modern researchers have marveled at the accuracy of this celestial navigation. Studies have shown that these ancient techniques can rival and in some cases surpass modern tools. Collaborations between indigenous communities and astronomers continue to shed light on how traditional methods can inspire and enhance contemporary understanding of navigation and astronomy. Indigenous Australian knowledge of the stars as tools for navigation is a testament to human ingenuity, patience, and a deep connection to the natural world. It bridges the cosmic with the terrestrial, showing us that the night sky isn't just a backdrop. It's a vital, guiding force that has not only practical insights but also a profound respect for intricate relationship between humanity and the cosmos. To Indigenous Australian cultures, the sky is not just a static spectacle of stars. It is a dynamic and ever-changing narrative. Celestial events like eclipses, comets, or the phases of the moon hold significance far beyond their scientific explanations. They are deeply connected to cultural beliefs, practical applications, and an intrinsic understanding of the universe. Indigenous Australians interpreted these phenomena with remarkable insight, weaving them into their stories and using them as tools to navigate life. Take lunar phases, for instance. Indigenous Australians observed how the cycle of the moon influenced tides, animal behavior, and even human activity. Communities along the coastline, such as those in northern Australia, use the moon's phases to predict optimal fishing times or to anticipate changes in sea levels. These observations were practical, but they were also tied to cultural practices. The waxing and waning moon often symbolized life cycles, growth, and renewal, creating a spiritual connection between the celestial body and daily existence. Eclipses, on the other hand, carried more complex interpretations. While modern astronomy explains them as celestial alignments of the Sun, Moon, and Earth, Indigenous Australians view them as rare and significant occurrences. Some traditions described eclipses as moments of cosmic harmony or reconciliation, while others saw them as warnings or omens tied to community life. Regardless of the interpretation, eclipses were treated with reverence and sparked conversations about the mysteries of the universe. Comets were equally fascinating. Indigenous Australians noted their unpredictable appearances and often saw them as messengers of change. Some cultures associated comets with significant events such as the arrival of visitors or shifts in weather patterns. In contrast to the fleeting nature of comets, constellations and planets were observed over longer periods, allowing communities to track their movements and integrate this knowledge into their understanding of time and space. The seasonal changes in the night sky also informed agriculture, hunting, and resource management. For example, the rising of certain stars or constellations marked the transition into different seasons. The appearance of the star cluster Orion coincided with the wet season in the north, signaling the time to prepare for floods and harvest water-based resources. Such celestial markers served as reliable indicators of environmental shifts, enabling communities to plan their activities with precision. Indigenous Australians didn't just observe celestial events, they interpreted them in ways that were both scientific and philosophical. Their explanations bridged the gap between empirical observation and spiritual meaning, creating a holistic framework of knowledge. This approach demonstrates a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of the cosmos and life on Earth. Modern astronomy continues to be inspired by these interpretations. Researchers have studied how Indigenous Australians predicted eclipses or tracked planetary movements with surprising accuracy, often finding correlations between traditional practices and contemporary scientific methods. These collaborations highlight the brilliance of Indigenous knowledge systems and their enduring relevance in understanding the universe. By exploring Indigenous interpretations of celestial events, we not only gain insight into the ancient wisdom, but also learn to appreciate the depth of human curiosity and creativity. Their perspective reminds us that the sky is not just something to look at, it's something to live with, to learn from, and to connect to on multiple levels. Indigenous Australian astronomy isn't just steeped in cultural and spiritual significance. It also demonstrates remarkable scientific sophistication. For tens of thousands of years, Indigenous Australians have observed, recorded, and interpreted the movements of celestial objects with precision, blending empirical knowledge with cultural meaning. While some might view their astronomical practices as folklore, many modern researchers have found astonishing correlations between traditional Indigenous knowledge and contemporary scientific understanding. Take, for example, their interpretation of the Southern Cross. Indigenous Australians use this constellation not only for navigation, but also to track its shifting position in the sky throughout the year. Such observations reflect an advanced understanding of the Earth's axial tilt and the changing seasons. Stone arrangements like Wurdi Youang in Victoria appear to align with summer and winter solstices, showcasing knowledge of celestial mechanics comparable to that of a Stonehenge. This alignment suggests deliberate and systematic observation of the sun's movements over centuries. The scientific relevance of Indigenous astronomy extends to the tracking of planetary movements. Venus, often referred to as the morning star, holds a special place in Indigenous traditions across Australia. By observing its patterns and appearances, Indigenous Australians demonstrated a deep understanding of its orbital behavior. The accuracy of their interpretations rivals that of ancient astronomical systems in other parts of the world, such as the Mayan or Babylonian traditions. Perhaps one of the most impressive aspects of Indigenous Australian astronomy is their ability to predict celestial events. For example, certain communities could anticipate eclipses, recognizing them as recurring phenomena rather than random occurrences. This suggests that Indigenous Australians had a conceptual grasp of the cyclic nature of celestial alignment. Their observations of comets and their connections to changes in weather or environmental conditions show how carefully they monitored the interplay between celestial and terrestrial events. Modern science has also corroborated the long-term observations of Indigenous Australians regarding variable stars. Some traditions describe stars that brighten and dim over time, a phenomenon that aligns with what astronomers now understand as stellar variability. The study of pulsating stars, such as Cepheid variables, underpins modern astrophysics, highlighting the extraordinary depth of Indigenous astronomical knowledge. Collaborations between Indigenous Australians and modern scientists continue to shed light on the scientific relevance of traditional knowledge. For instance, Indigenous elders have shared their understanding of the phases of the moon, contributing insights into ecological cycles and animal behaviors tied to lunar patterns. These partnerships not only validate the accuracy of Indigenous interpretations, but also bridge ancient wisdom and modern methodologies, creating a richer understanding of the cosmos. Through Indigenous Australian astronomy, we see the intersection of science, observation, and cultural meaning. It challenges us to expand our definition of science, recognizing that systematic inquiry can take many forms. Their astronomical knowledge is not a relic of the past but a living tradition, reminding us that humanity's relationship with the stars transcends borders and eras. The integration of this ancient wisdom into modern science is a powerful testament to the enduring brilliance of Indigenous perspectives. It reveals a timeless truth: the sky connects us all. Indigenous Australian astronomical knowledge is not just a relic of the past. It continues to make waves in modern astronomy, offering fresh perspectives and invaluable insights. For millennia, Indigenous Australians have meticulously observed the stars, planets, and celestial phenomena, and these rich traditions are now gaining recognition for their scientific merit. Today, the collaborations between Indigenous communities and researchers are reshaping how we understand the cosmos, blending ancient wisdom with contemporary science. One of the key contributions lies in Indigenous approaches to mapping the night sky. Many Indigenous star maps focus on dark spaces between stars rather than just the stars themselves. This perspective is unique to the Southern Hemisphere and offers an alternative framework for understanding celestial patterns. For example, the Emu in the night sky, a dark constellation formed by the dust lanes of the Milky Way, is not only a cultural symbol but also a practical tool. Modern astronomers are beginning to appreciate how this approach complements conventional star-based mapping systems, particularly when studying regions like the Milky Way's core. In addition to their unique perspective on celestial patterns, Indigenous Australians have a profound understanding of the long-term changes in the night sky. This knowledge is invaluable in the study of stellar and planetary cycles. For instance, stories describing stars that change in brightness align with modern observations of variable stars, those that dim and brighten over time. These narratives have prompted researchers to re-examine historical oral accounts, finding evidence that complements current astrophysical theories about stellar evolution. Collaborative projects are another arena where Indigenous contributions are shining. Across Australia, Indigenous elders and astronomers are working together to document and preserve traditional star knowledge. Programs like the ARC Centre of Excellence for All-Sky Astrophysics in 3D actively incorporate Indigenous perspectives into their research, ensuring that these ancient understandings continue to inform modern science. Efforts like these are not only enriching academic studies, but also fostering greater respect for Indigenous science as a legitimate and valuable field of study. One striking example of this collaboration is the use of stone arrangements like Wurdi Youang in Victoria. These structures, believed to align with the solstices, have sparked new discussions about the astronomical achievements of ancient societies. The precision with which these stones were placed challenges the notion that advanced astronomy was exclusive to civilizations like those of ancient Mesopotamia or Europe. Instead, they highlight the global nature of early astronomical pursuits and the ingenuity of Indigenous Australian communities. Another notable contribution is the growing effort to integrate Indigenous star law into education and outreach. Indigenous Australian knowledge is increasingly being featured in planetariums, museums, and schools, presenting the sky through a cultural lens that broadens our understanding of humanity's relationship with the cosmos. This approach not only enriches public appreciation of astronomy, but also empowers Indigenous communities to reclaim their narrative and share them with a global audience. By recognizing the contributions of Indigenous Australian astronomy, modern science takes a step toward inclusivity and diversity, acknowledging that knowledge comes in many forms. This partnership between ancient wisdom and cutting-edge research is a testament to the timelessness of human curiosity and ingenuity, reminding us that every perspective, no matter how ancient, has a place among the stars. For tens of thousands of years, Indigenous Australian astronomical knowledge thrived, deeply embedded in culture, spirituality, and daily life. The night sky served not only as a guide, but as a profound expression of identity and connection to the land. However, the arrival of European colonists in the late 18th century brought profound and devastating changes, disrupting these time-honored traditions. Colonization caused immeasurable loss to indigenous cultures, including the suppression and marginalization of their astronomical knowledge. One of the most significant impacts of colonization was the displacement of indigenous communities from their ancestral lands. For cultures so deeply tied to the land and the sky, this separation was catastrophic. Sacred sites linked to the celestial events, such as stone arrangements used for solstice observations, were desecrated or destroyed. Without access to these places, the cultural practices and stories connected to them were at risk of being lost forever. The colonial narrative also imposed European systems of knowledge as superior, dismissing indigenous knowledge as primitive or irrelevant. This included their astronomy, which was misunderstood or ignored by early settlers. Indigenous Australians were rarely recognized as scientists or navigators, despite the sophistication of their celestial understanding. The imposition of Western education systems further marginalized traditional knowledge, favoring a Eurocentric view of the cosmos while silencing indigenous perspectives. Despite these challenges, indigenous communities showed remarkable resilience. Knowledge that could not be openly practiced was preserved through oral traditions passed down quietly within families and communities. The continuity of these traditions, even in the face of immense adversity, is a testament to the strength and determination of Indigenous Australians to keep their culture alive. The astronomical knowledge of Indigenous Australian cultures is a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and creativity. For tens of thousands of years, they have looked to the skies not just for answers, but for guidance, meaning, and inspiration. Their understanding of the cosmos, deeply intertwined with cultural and spiritual beliefs, offers a perspective that enriches our collective appreciation of the universe. Throughout this episode, we've explored how Indigenous Australians interpret the stars as living stories, navigational tools, and markers of celestial events. We've seen how their wisdom rivals and often complements modern scientific methods, from the emu in the night sky to the precise alignment of stone arrangements like Wurdi Youang. Their contributions to astronomy reveal an intricate relationship between the Earth, the sky, and the people who walk between them. But beyond the science, what stands out is the enduring relevance of their knowledge. Despite the challenges of colonization, Indigenous Australians have preserved these traditions, and today, they are finally being recognized for their significance. By integrating this ancient wisdom into modern astronomy, we are not only validating its accuracy, but also ensuring that it informs our understanding of the cosmos in a more holistic way. As we conclude, let's remember the broader message that this knowledge imparts. The night sky, universal and unchanging, holds lessons for all humanity. It teaches us that we are all connected across cultures, across time, and across the vastness of space. By respecting and celebrating the contributions of Indigenous Australian cultures, we are reminded that science is not separate from humanity. It is deeply rooted in it. Their stories and insights shine as brightly as the stars themselves, guiding us toward a future where knowledge is shared and perspectives are united under one expansive sky. Thank you for watching. Keep looking up.